Uh, Day two of the forum, full swing as you can hear around us now. It's really great to have Monaco Marine back on board as a headline partner. We've just been doing our refit report at the moment and looking at some really interesting case studies and including some work that's been happening at your yards. I spent a bit of time in the Seine last year at your facility for a refit, but as I understand, there's a bit more expansion going on around the rest of the south of France and in the network. What's going on?
So we had two shipyards amongst the group, which are Beaulieu and Antibes, who were a bit old. We were arriving at the end of the concession, and therefore there was a bid to renew the concession that happened last year. So we put an offer on both shipyards because we're really keen to keep the shipyards there. And we present a development project on both shipyards, and we won the bid in each shipyard. So
Why do you think you won the bid?
because I think we made the best offer, and honestly speaking, I don't think people like to change. We were there for many years. We had a positive feedback from everybody there, and I think there was no reason for them to change. And on top of that, we have presented a really decent offer that I think brings more value to the shipyard and to the commune. And I think we won the bid because of that, because of the quality of our work.
Sure. And so where do these where do these new facilities fit into your network? What's the differentiator between perhaps the Lausanne facility, for example?
So Antibes and Beaulieu are really strategic for us because they are targeting the biggest part of the market, which is the 30 to 50 meter.
Yeah.
Which
Is that the sweet spot, you think, for Monaco Marine in that area?
I think honestly, this is where we are really good. We are good, of course, in most of the segments, but we're really specialized for a long time now in the 30 to 50 meter markets. Originally, we had a gap in the 40 to 50. This is why we built La Seine, which was really dedicated to 40 to 50. And also the numbers of boats in that category of size.
Yeah, enormous.
Exactly.
Yeah. And a lot that are based, single season boats, right?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
every year they're going to be looking for that little bit of work,
Correct.
that anti-foul or whatever.
Correct. But from a shipyard perspective, the boats which are doing both seasons are really attractive also.
Yeah.
Because they cruise more.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, they get more
They need a bit more work. Yeah.
Well, in their sadness, we have our own happiness,
Yeah, no, I understand. And I guess Antibes in particular would be, I know that the network extends all along the coast, but right centralized around Antibes, you've got a lot of subcontractors. There's a lot of people, a lot of industry you can draw off. Would that be correct?
I think also the crew enjoy Antibes.
They do, yeah.
I think is the let's say the capital of the French Riviera.
Yeah.
For yachts, you have Monaco and you have Antibes, and we're in both locations.
And I think especially with the smaller boats, the crew often decide where the refit happens, right?
I think location of a shipyard is really a strategic element, and for everybody who wants to build a shipyard, they need to think about is the location is right or not. And honestly, location is really strategic. So Antibes is indeed one of the best places you can build a shipyard because it's one of the biggest marina in Europe.
And we might be right in saying, just trying to remember the layout in Antibes, that would be the only large refit facility there?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, the only competitor we have in the region, they are based in Golfe-Juan, and they have a smaller lift than what we have now in Antibes, which is 300 ton. And they let's say that this is their alternative for clients there. They have or Monaco Marine or the shipyard in Golfe-Juan.
Sure. And as far as the capacities there, what kind of lifting capacity are we talking about compared to Lausanne?
Lausanne, we are more about 40 to 55, let's say 60 meter.
Yes.
Where Antibes is really upon 30 to 40 meter.
And I think you mentioned before that there was a particularly interesting kind of lifting strategy or piece of technology that you're incorporating at the Antibes facility. Could you explain that a little bit more?
It's in Beaulieu. So in Antibes, we have a travel lift.
Yeah.
Which is a classical lifting material. But on the other shipyard in Beaulieu, we're having an elevator, in fact, like a synchro lift, but that works only with air. So there's no electricity. We're just pumping air, and the boat is lifting with the.
And where's that technology come from?
In fact, it's an old technology.
Yeah.
We have not
I
reinvented.
think I've heard of it in like a commercial context, but not so much in this.
No, we are not reinventing the wheel. It was existing already. There is also some plus of this system compared to a travel lift, and there is some cons. The cons is that it takes more time to roll out the boat, but there is no constraint on the boat. So, for instance, if you have a 35 classic boats or wooden hull, for instance, we'll recommend you to go to the elevator when there is less constraint on the hull and on the structure than on a travel lift. There is some boats nowadays, if you go on a travel lift, you might damage the boat.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Yeah, and especially a lot of, forward-looking sonars and through hull technologies and stuff that you have to be very careful of in a synchro lift, that perhaps that's going to be a lot more protected for something like this airbag technology.
There is boats, in fact, sometimes it's almost not advised to hold them out with a travel lift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's a big investment across those 3 yards. Is that something that was just a function of the really high demand for refit in the south of France? I mean, you must have seen that there was that opening and that potential there in order to make such a big investment.
Well, honestly speaking, in Beaulieu, we bought the shipyard in '97. So we have already a long experience in operating this facility. And for us, we also have the headquarters of Monaco Marine France in Beaulieu.
Sure.
So it's something that really speaks to our roots, let's say.
Yeah.
It's really where we come from. So it was really important for us to remain there. And yeah, in this sizable markets, you have less impact on the economic compared to the worldwide economical situation. Today, if you have a shipyard which does like 60 to 80 meter, when there is a downturn, you really feel it.
Yeah.
Where on the other side, when you have a 30,
A little more insulated.
well, you don't have so much variation, honestly.
Yeah.
So for us,
It's a sustainable economic model.
correct. Not only it's allow us to keep serving our clients, which is the main priority, but on the other hand as well, it give us allow us also to build up our network and make sure we are sustainable and we can still, of course, invest and make long-term strategies.
Mm-hmm.
Today, if you have a shipyard which only operate big boats, well, all the strategic decision you might make could be at risk with something you don't control, which is the worldwide situation.
Sure. Yeah, and that's why I guess that's a good place for us to perhaps ask that last question. Is we're focused a lot on what the issues that the new build yards are facing with manpower, energy costs, supply chain issues. Less focus on some of the more traditional refit centers. So how do you feel that the outlook is for a refit perspective in terms of those multiple issues that we had?
I think the refit business is the future, probably, because by itself, by the essence of the activity, this is sustainable. We are reusing new older yachts to make new yachts. So when we are talking today about the sustainability and all the future of our industry, the refits has a major part to play in this game, for sure. And everybody is looking at it. So yeah, I think we are into the direction of what is going at the moment. And this is why investing more and more, as Monaco Marine does, makes sense, because we see there is more and more clients. There is more and more.
The fleet grows a lot every year. It doesn't shrink by very much.
And all the boats in the future will need some refits, some interior change, and that will bring a lot of opportunities of business. We see more and more enlarge of boats. We see more and more refit interior. In La Seine, for example, you were mentioning La Seine is a 4 years old shipyard. So 4 years ago, there was nothing there. Today, there is a huge shipyard making big projects every year. We are doing in La Seine this year, we are delivering 2 major refits for interior, which we are not doing before. So the market is growing for sure. There is this kind of business for this kind of shipyard in La Seine, where we do major refits. And as you were mentioning, in Beaulieu, in Antibes, there is some repeat clients, which every year they need to come and fix some things. So there is different aspects into our business where Monaco Marine is able to answer big boats, smaller boats, major refits, smaller refits. And as Tanguy was saying, Monaco Marine is able to catch all the opportunity and sometimes some up and downs into the segments If the big boats at the moment are a bit slower, then we've got the medium boats to play with. So, but which is not the case on our side because La Ciotat is going fantastic. Maybe
Yeah, yeah.
Tanguy wants to say
No,
about
but
it.
today all the segments of the market are booming.
Yeah.
No question about that. But of course, we saw in the past, like for instance, 2008, because we were there already, that, and you have much more variation in the big size boats than on a normal size, let's call it like that.
And you'll kind of flatten that curve out
yeah,
by having that flexibility
and
across
I
the
think
sides.
also the habits of the consumers have slightly changed. Today, time is an essence.
Yeah.
I mean, when you hear sometime and we talk with builders today, they're like, yeah, when we're going to see the boat, you know? Like, okay, 2026. Even me, I'm 34. It looks like
Too far.
ages, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
I mean, we want to see it now. And refit, most of the time, you can get what you want in 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's much easier to wait 1 year than 4.
Well, look, I think we definitely need to come down and see the new
With
facilities as
pleasure,
they
you're always
come.
welcome.
So yeah, thanks so much for the time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.